I think we've all been there, trying to memorize something, repeating it a million times, only to forget in hours, or even minutes later. That ends today. Because you're not just about to get a few memory tips, you're about to rewire your brain and unlock a skill that will stick with you forever. Picture this. You're at a memory championship. Yep, they exist, surrounded by people who can memorize thousands of numbers after hearing it just once. Sounds like a superpower, right? But here's the twist. It's not. They're just using techniques that anyone can learn. And the best part? Training your brain like this doesn't just boost your memory. It literally reshapes your brain, gets sharper, faster, and more capable. The truth? Most of us have been memorizing things all wrong. We sit there staring at a screen or textbook, rereading the same words, hoping they will magically stick. But that's not how your brain works. Your mind is wired for stories, images, and plays. It's built to remember in full color, not flat, lifeless tasks. That's why the Memory Palace changes everything. Hack 1. The Memory Palace technique is based on how your brain naturally remembers plays. Think about it. You probably don't struggle to remember your house, your favorite coffee, or the layout of your school, right? That's because your brain is rewarded to remember locations better than random facts. So here's how to use it. Imagine a place you know well, very well. Your home, or a park, or even your favorite game, Mac. Now take that information you needed to remember and place it in your favorite spot around that location. The weirder the image, the better. If you memorize 5 historical dates, picture one as a giant clock in your living room. When you need to recall the information, just mentally walk your memory palace and pick up the details as you go. Memory champions use this to remember thousands of numbers, names, and facts in minutes. And if they can do it, so you can. Try using it for formulas, key dates or events, or even your grocery list. You will be shocked at how well it works. 2. Second technique, active recall. Let's be real. Most of us study by staring at our notes, rereading the same lines, highlighting random stuff and hoping it sticks. But here's the thing. Your brain is lazy, and if you're just passively reading, you're not actually learning. Instead, you need to force your brain to work. That's where active recall comes in. How it works. After reading a chapter, close the book and try to recall everything you read. Ask yourself questions about the topic and answer without looking. And, even better, write it down as if you're explaining it to someone else. The reason this works is simple. When you actively retrieve the information, you make the memory stronger. It's like working out. Your muscles don't grow just by watching other people lifting weight, right? You have to actually do the work. Spaced repetition, which is the opposite of cramming. We've all done it, staying up all night before a test, memorizing everything in one go. And yeah, maybe you remember stuff for a day, but then it's gone. That's because cramming forces everything into your short-term memory, but it doesn't give your brain time to lock in. So instead of cramming, do this, study today, review tomorrow, and review again in 3 days, then in a week. Each time you review, you strengthen the memory, making it easier to recall long-term. And the best part? You don't have to rely on memory alone. Apps like Anki or Quizlet use spaced repetition to remind you exactly when you need to review, so you don't have to think about it. 4. Chunking. Your brain has a limit. It can only hold about 7 pieces of information at a time, but you can hack this by grouping things together in meaningful ways. For example, instead of memorizing 10 separate historic dates, group them as by decade or major events. Learning a new language, for example. Don't memorize random words. Group them by category, foods, emotions, travel, phrase, that kind of thing. This works because your brain isn't overloaded with too much at once. Now let's hack it. Teach where you learn. This is one of the most powerful learning methods out there. The best way to really understand something is teaching it. Here's why. When you explain something, your brain has to recognize the information in ways that make sense. If you struggle to explain it, it means there's a gap in your understanding. And that's a good thing, because now you can know exactly what to fix. You don't need a classroom for this. Teach a friend or a family member, or your dog, cat, for example. If no one's around, pretend you're teaching as an invisible student. So, after studying today, take 5 minutes to teach the topic out loud.